Peter's Song, written by Pratima Mitchell, illustrated by Caroline Binch. When Peter played his violin, everyone listened. Whenever there was a celebration, Christmas, Easter, sowing and harvest, weddings and birthdays, Peter and the children went through the village singing and dancing. Peter always led the procession, drawing out melodies and setting everyone's feet, tapping to his jigs and polkas. At Christmas time, Peter's father conducted the village choir. His deep voice would ring out in the frosty night air. Silent night, holy night. When the children sang with him, their mouths opened wide and caught the falling snowflakes which melted on their tongues. Pine, candle wax, and the rich aroma of cinnamon cake scented the air. It was a happy place. One autumn evening, Peter was herding the cows home from the high pasture and trying out a new tune on his fiddle. Suddenly, a loud explosion shattered the air. The cows and Peter nearly jumped out of their skins. Peter ran back up the hillside to see what was happening. His heart turned a somersault as the rat-a-tat-tat of gunfire bounced off neighboring mountain sides. He tried to round up the cows by playing his favorite going home tune, but it was drowned by the noise of church bells crashing and jangling their terrible news. War had begun. Long after Peter had gone to bed, he heard the murmur of his parents' voices. They talked far into the night. At dawn, Peter's father packed food and water. He and mother rolled up blankets and strapped them on 4 rucksacks. Get ready, all of you. Go west. Father pointed to the other side of the mountains. You will be safe there. I will follow as soon as I can. Peter, Gregor, and Anna clung to him and wouldn't let go. Who will take care of you now? Peter whispered to his favorite cow. As they set off up the hill, Father came running after them. Peter, you have forgotten your violin. He gave him the case. Look after your mother, Gregor, and Anna. Then he went back to join the other men. Night fell swiftly. They tried to stay invisible by keeping to the shadows. Spurts of red and orange flames in the valley signaled houses on fire. Shells exploded in the distance. The wind howled and the forest crackled with menacing noises. They pressed on without stopping. Three days later, they crossed the border and reached a safe town. Their stomachs were empty, and their feet were blistered and sore. The streets were full of other refugees looking for food and shelter. Children were begging for bread, and Peter saw a man snatch an apple from a market stall. Peter, play your violin, said Anna. People will give you money, and we can buy food. But Peter couldn't play. His fingers felt stiff, like clothes pegs. There were no songs in his heart now. Mother made a place to sleep in a doorway. All night the snow fell. It was very cold. Peter remembered how Father used to sing. He remembered his friends saying, Peter, play your violin. He shut his eyes and imagined they were all sitting in front of the fire, roasting nuts. At last he fell asleep. The next day a kind man let them move into his garden shed. He fetched beds, a table and a chair and made it warm and cozy. He even gave Mother a job in the cafe. I hope you will be happy here, he said. But how could they be happy without father? It was nearly Christmas. Anna and Gregor borrowed scissors and paper and glue to make cards to send to father. But Peter didn't feel like making anything. What was there to celebrate? The streets were deserted. Everyone was indoors, cooking, wrapping presents, and getting ready for Christmas Eve. Peter marched left, right, left, right. Where was father now? Was he in danger? Was he marching down an icy road? Was he singing? Silent night. Peter started to hum the tune to himself. All of a sudden, a new melody came to Peter, a dancing rhythm, a tune to welcome the spring. He closed his eyes, searching for words that would fit. When he opened them, snowflakes were whirling down like tiny dancers. He tried out the tune in his head. Then he sang it out loud. Snowflakes floated into his open mouth and melted on his tongue. He ran back to the garden shed. Where was it? Where had he put it? There it was, in a basket of newly laundered clothes. He opened the case and tenderly lifted out his violin. Then he picked up the bow and began to tune the strings. Moments later, the sweetest of sounds reached the cafe. His little sister Anna cried, "Listen! Peter's playing again!" Mother dried her hands. One by one, the customers left their food and came outside. Then they began to clap and snap their fingers. Peter played all his favorite tunes. One by one, everyone linked arms and danced, the old jigs and polkas and waltzes. They laughed and hugged each other. "Happy Christmas!" they cried. Peter smiled. Suddenly he thought, "I can give father something for Christmas. I'll give him my new song. I know we'll be together again someday." He hugged Mother, Gregor and Anna. "Let's make a wish," he said. And just then the words of his song came to him. When swallows fly across the sun, when earth has woken up from sleep, we'll sow the seed and beg the wind to carry a song of peace.